first and very basic thing, which is very generic also, nothing much technical about, so that everyone can understand this. So we know that we are like presently also we are surrounded with smart devices. By smart devices, we mean like we are surrounded with various devices which use internet, and they have become those devices have become smart, and in turn they have make us smarter. Okay, so internet has opened a new world for us on this world, and many opportunities are also available because of it. It is a manifestation of never ending innovation and creativity. And we know that it has no boundaries. It has brought a huge economic chances for people in every country, and it also allows people to improve the quality of their life. Okay, today everything and anything is accessible on just a single click. Okay, within almost 3 millions of user, it is now after pandemic it is increasing, the user base is increasing from 3 billion to 4 billion and much more. And internet has emerged as an important tool. Okay, let it be communication, let it be business development, let it be commercialization and whatnot. Okay, so it is importantly and increasingly has become a good role of I would say communication. Like right now we are also using this tool only, internet only, to communicate, to connect with each other. Okay, so today we will discuss what actually internet is, just the basics, and how it help us to promote our functionality, to promote our security, and how and what things we should keep in our mind in order to, sustain our protection, sustain in this cyber world. Okay. So with this, we would discuss the agenda of this session. That is, we will first go for internet fundamentals, then information security and its basics, analysis and of threat and risk, what risk is, what threat is, what vulnerability is, then further what information security is, what IT security, network security, and cyber security is, and further its policies. Okay. So, getting into this roller coaster ride, first of all, we should know what network is. Actually, when we talk about network, the very first thing that comes into our mind is like more than one or two devices when they are interacting with each other. Okay, so it becomes network. And we can assume a larger or the wider picture when one network is connected with the another network to make the largest network all around the world, then that means we are connecting hundreds and thousands of individual networks all over the world. It makes internet. Okay, so basically network is of three types. That is LAN, MAN, and WAN. I'll show you how it look like. Like I'll give you a sample of it in the pictorial form. Okay, so in the upcoming slide. Further, if I talk about internet, then internet is being provided as a service by the commercial organization. Okay, so it is basically providing us some connections, some temporary connections whenever we subscribe internet. That is called internet service provider. Okay, so the companies which are basically providing us internet facilities are Prodigy, America Online, Microsoft Network, AT&T Networks. Okay, so further to have a glimpse of what network look like, what LAN, MAN and WAN look like, it is like this. Okay, so if you can see in this slide on the left bottom of the slide, then you can see here LAN. LAN is local area network. Okay, local area network, as the name suggests, like locally, whenever all the devices are connected with each other, they can interact with each other. Okay, so that is called local area network. Now, the name itself suggests that this is a network which exists locally. Okay, so that means there is a area constraint in it. Okay, now this constraint is overcome in this MAN, which is Metropolitan Area Network, wherein this local area network of school, local area network of hospital, local area network of college, and LAN of factory, when all these such kind of small networks small local area networks are connected together, then they form one man. Okay, so that itself means you can well imagine, let's say it is a city in which all these small lands are connected to make one man. You can assume a city, okay, at the city level, because the name is metropolitan area network. Okay, similarly when we talk about WAN, again this is the wider range of man. Again the area covered was more, it is including more area here. Wide area network means you are uh, accumulating various LANs, and along with that n type of mans together, and that makes one WAN. That is, you can imagine one country LAN and MAN together, or maybe one continent, or maybe the entire world. Okay, so in this way, when various small networks get in connection, get in contact with each other to form the largest network in the world, it becomes internet. Okay, now next question which come into our mind, like how we communicate with the help of this network and internet. Okay, so you know that we make contacts, we send messages, we send emails in just one click. Now at the back end, what is happening actually? At the back end, like suppose in this diagram here, you can see there is one computer. Let's assume this is a sender computer. Okay. Now this sender computer has sent one, maybe one message or one email to this particular recipient computer. Okay. Now in our real life, whenever we send some message or send some email or some mail to some other person who is living far away, we need to have one address of his, right? So here also in this procedure, in this communication also, we need one address of the recipient, and that is called the IP address. Okay, so that is the entire address of this recipient computer. Okay, so here at the sender side, what happens is whatever message is sent, it is sent in the form of digital signals. With the help of modem, it is converted into analog signals, and further with the help of internet service provider through internet, again through internet service provider to capture it, because at the receiver end, internet connection is required. Okay, so similar process is followed, and at the end, this recipient computer whose IP address was mentioned over here receives the address. Okay, it receives the mail. So in this way, this entire communication takes place. When we mentioned about IP addresses, that means again, each computer must have a unique IP address, and this is true, right? Now, what do IP means? IP means Internet Protocol. So as we know that Internet work on few protocols, let's say the entire suite of protocol. There are various set of protocols. Protocols are what? Protocols are just rules or standards on which this internet communication takes place. Okay, so we will not go into much technical detail. So IP address is like, it's a 32-bit number. Here you can see an example of it. Okay, these are basically four binary octets which are mentioned. If it, you can say four numbers are separated with these dots. Okay, so this marks the address of a particular computer. Okay, now this address can be given either statically or dynamically. Okay, if we talk about statically, then that means manually we will enter the IP address. We will allocate that particular address to the to that particular computer in the network. But if we talk dynamically, for example, we are not stationary. We are not having stationary computer, like maybe we are having laptop which is accessed by us while we are moving from one place to another. At that time, the IP which is captured or configured, it is on the basis of this DHCP. Now, DHCP is Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Okay, so this DHCP automatically configure the IP address of that particular computer. It already also have one subnet mask along with that. Only IP address do not serve our purpose. We need to have the subnet mask also that defines the computer's location. Okay, and the network also. Okay, so apart from that, one default gateway is also required. Okay, so all these things together, when they are grouped together, we can easily, manage to send any kind of message to that particular address over internet, or you can say over network, whatever. Okay, so now this particular IP addressing which I told you is IPv4, that is Internet Protocol version 4. Okay, as we discussed already that now earlier it was 3 billion internet users, now it's about 4 billion internet user, and slowly and gradually this number is increasing, right? So when this number is increasing, but we are having just 32-bit IP addresses, that is 2 raised to the power 32 is 4 billion addresses are available all over the world. Okay, of internet addresses I'm talking about. So when user base is increasing, then we have to switch to the next version of IPs, that is IPv6. Okay, it is like we are gradually switching, wherein 2 raised to the power 128 addresses will be available, and our IP will look like somewhat like this, as shown in the slide, which is the hexadecimal quadrant of 8 groups. Okay, so it will look like somewhat like this. So this is your IPv6 address. It is not completely implemented yet, but slowly and gradually will be shifting to this kind of addressing pattern. Okay, moving further, now we discussed about internet is using some protocols for communication, right? I talked about protocol, I talked about some rules and standards. This is one of the, most important standard or most important rule or protocol which internet is following. Here you can see the entire suite of protocol is there that include IP, Internet Protocol, Transmission Control Protocol, TLS, UDP, User Datagram Protocol, DNS, Domain Name Servers, and HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Okay, and this entire set is being used. They have their different functionality, but we will focus HTTP because it's mounted on the top of, most important and most significant protocol among them. Okay, so HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It is very simple and extensible. As you can see, we send the message or we send a request. You can say here we are located, we as a client or browser. Okay, and here it's a server to which we are requesting to fetch some information for us. Okay, and in response, it gives us that particular service which we are asking for. So it's a very simple, you can say, give and back, give and take kind of thing. So that is why it is called stateless, because either response will occur or there will be no response. Okay, now if we talk about request, okay, then what kind of request do we put? We have a URL over here which is used to give a request or to send request to the server. Okay, we all know now what URL is. Okay, URL is on the top most text field present over there on the top. That is uniform resource locator. Okay, so here we have a protocol. Usually it is HTTP instance. Here example is given to you for more clarity. Then host name. Now host name means whatever website you are asking for to the server. Okay. Then there would be port number here. Okay. These days port number is not there because of, again, due to security reasons, this port number is removed from here, or you can say patched or hide, or it's given in the abstracted form. It is not shown to all. Okay. Then further the path or the resource path to which particular file or folder you want to access and what data you want to access. Okay, so query would be there. So this entire thing is the URI. Okay, URI is basically a subclass of URL, that is Uniform Resource Identifier. With identifier and locator, you can easily classify that locator will locate you the file and the folder to which you are requesting to the server to give you back. Okay, and URI denotes like whatever particular variable or whatever particular query or parameter you want from that particular that file or that variable will be fetched, or identifier will be fetched to you in response to it. Okay. So in this way, this is for your better understanding with HTTP protocol. It's like first you will enter the protocol, then it would be sending request message. It is in this form, which is not seen by us, but it is found on network layer. It goes like this. Then server catches this particular request, okay, and it searches among its files present or its folders present in its directory or not. If it is present, then it gives back the response over HTTP, and the response that is that particular page which you have requested, let it be google.com, and the google.com is displayed over here on your screen. Okay, so now we all know that HTTP we are using presently, but it is not secure. Why? That is because we know that browser and server are communicating by sending request and receiving response, but this request and response is done in the clear picture or clear text form. It can be seen over here. If you see on the right side of the slide, you can see there is one girl who is sending request along with the password to a particular server or maybe to the particular some mail server. Okay, now she's using what? HTTP, isn't it? What is she using? HTTP method. HTTP protocol is being used. Now due to this usage, the password or the communication which she's doing is in the clear text. If some hacker is there, he can see what she is writing, and because this password is not encrypted, he can easily read and can misuse also. So that is why HTTPS is used, which will encrypt your password, and now a hacker can no longer see your password, he will see something else. Okay, so you can assume, you can say that HTTPS is a secure version of HTTP. Okay, so moving further, now I think you all got a clear scenario like how communication takes place. Okay, like what are the drawbacks? What were the drawbacks earlier, which are being patched now using HTTPS? Okay, now we are clear with like what internet is and how it functions, how network works. Okay, so now we will going further towards the server side. Now, when we send request from here, like I am sitting here and I'm sending some request to the server, I'm saying, right? Now, what all things happen at the server side? Okay, how he generate any kind of, he give response to any of my question, how it happens. Okay, so it happens like this. We will magnify. I have magnified this particular thing for you in order to make you understand more. So here at server side system, we have web servers. So there are n number of web servers present. These are like gatekeepers, okay, who check whether I am an authentic person or not. The person who is making request is an authentic person or not. Okay, maybe I am asking for some transaction on my bank account. So whether I am an authenticated person, authenticated and registered person or not. So these web servers will keep a check on that. And then only if they allow me to do so, if my username and password matches, only then I'm allowed to access the website which is hosted over here on the web application server. Okay. Now on web application server, whatever information I give or whatever information I take will be stored in these database servers. Okay, so now can you imagine what kind of server side systems we have? N number of web services, n number of database servers, and various application servers wherein applications are hosted. Okay. So now, whenever I make any kind of request, it is going from internet, through internet to company's network with the from filtered from the firewall, routers, switches, and then to the whole army of web servers. Now these web servers will are like security guards. Okay, so they will check whether I am supposed to get into this particular building or not. Similarly, these web servers will check whether I'm supposed to get into this website or not. If I'm not, then they will stop me here only. I cannot access this website. Okay, I cannot access my Facebook account, my Gmail account, my any kind of account, right? They will stop me. over here only. Otherwise, I can access this application and can store data and retrieve data from here. Now, what if this whatever I am sending over here, request I am sending over here, is sniffed by or captured by some attacker? Let's assume what will happen then here. Now, some attacker is here. Okay, how he will attack? He will definitely sniff my data which I'm sending, my request which I'm sending, and now he will act like me and he will request, and their web browsers, web servers will also uh, allow him because the credentials are matching. Okay, he will have access to my account. He will, maybe my bank account. He will take all the money from the database, which is whatever status is there in my account. He will take all of that, and along with that, he can also deface this website also. So you see how dangerous this attacker can be. So when we talk about attacker, we should know what kind of attack he poses to us, okay, so that we can take preventive measures accordingly. Like, it is similar to the real life example. Like, if we feel we are not well, okay, we feel sick, and we go to doctor and he diagnoses us. Okay, he diagnoses that what are the symptoms that we are having, and what weaknesses we are having, and what kind of disease can attack us. Similarly, for capturing the attacker, for having immunity from the attacker, we need to have what kind of attacks that this attacker poses to us. Okay, so first one is malware. Malware, as the name suggests, mal means malicious. It came from the word malicious, and ware means software. Okay, it came from the word software. So mal and ware means malicious software. So these are the softwares which are installed and deployed by the attacker in our system and devices, and they completely occupy our system, our device, and give information of that device to the attacker. Okay, so this is one kind of very dangerous attack. It includes various trojans, various malware such as viruses, worms, rats. Okay, so all of them. Then further we have one phishing attack. Phishing attack is what you might have seen few mails coming to you from anonymous user. Okay, now they pretend like that particular mail is from the banking website or from banking server, regarding that you need to change your PIN. Okay, and the moment we change our PIN, it is like our PIN number is changed, but not according to us, but according to the attacker. And in turn, we have fallen trap into uh, the attacker's trap, and he can take away all our money. Okay, so such kind of attacks comes under the phishing attack. Okay, now phishing attack is further, it can be wishing attack, smishing attack, spear phishing attack. Okay, so there are various subcategories of phishing attack also. Then further, next kind of attack is password attack. Okay, now here password attack means your attacker, and this attacker is trying to either guess your password, or he's trying to crack your password or bypass your password. Okay, these days many algorithms are there which automatically do this task for the attacker, because attackers are also upgraded with the latest technology. They are also using these technical things to manipulate the technology. Okay, so this is password attack. Similarly, another kind of attack is DDoS attack. DDoS attack is distributed denial of service. Okay, here this is a server who is being requested by millions and trillions of requests at a time. So this server cannot handle this much load on it, and he stopped giving service. Okay, that is why it is called denial of service, distributed denial of service. Okay, so this is also another kind of attack wherein whatever service this server was offering you will no longer be given to you. Okay, so further we have rogue software. These are the softwares which are installed by the attacker without our knowledge, and these softwares work for attacker only, not for us. Okay, he's remotely accessing these rogue softwares. And further we have maladvertising. In maladvertising, some bad content is shown to us. Okay, similarly in drive-by downloads, whenever we download something, some unwanted files or malicious files or infected files also downloads with it. Like one of the example of it is rat. Rat is basically remote access trojan. This is a kind of malware which gets downloaded whenever we download some free movie or some free software from the various websites which are not, you can say, official websites. So those files are accompanied with the original file, and we even don't get to know that what we are downloading actually. So drive-by downloads is another kind of attack. And last but not the least is man-in-the-middle attack. Man-in-the-middle attack is like in the previous slides I told you that whenever we are using HTTP, then HTTP some attacker can see what password we are sending. So that is what man is sitting in the middle between client and server and is sniffing what actual communication is occurring. So this is man in the middle attack. So further, we need protection from all these kind of attacks, wherein there is some modification happening because of those attack, which is unauthorized. There can be some deletion happening without, which is again unauthorized without our knowledge. Then there is some access to the information happening, which is again unauthentic and unauthorized. So we need to stop this. We need to protect ourselves from these kind of unauthorized activities. So now what actually we are trying to protect? First of all, this also we need to be very clear. Okay, so we are trying to protect our information. We are trying to protect our data. Okay, data can be anything: your personal detail, your credit card detail, your debit card detail, your own identity details. Okay, so if you talk about data and information, these are like data is just facts and figures. Okay, and when you process this data and it makes some meaning to it, it adds some meaning to it, then it becomes information. Okay, so for example, if I say that I need your PAN number, that would be just one information. Okay, and if I say I need your password for your income tax account, then that would make entire, you know, set of credential for your income tax portal, which is an important thing for me, and it becomes information for me. Okay, so your PAN card accompanied with your password will become an information for me. Similarly, if we talk about information security, then information security is very important these days because this information also needs security. Okay, it can be preserved with the help of if this information is preserved with confidentiality, if it is kept with integrity, and it has availability. Now what these three terms means, this is CIA triad. Okay, we will discuss it in detail, like what is confidentiality, what is integrity, and what is availability. Okay, so this we have already discussed, like what information is and what information security is, and why we need this information security, because we want to protect our data. We need to protect our brand. We need to protect our reputation. We need to have business continuity. So for these reasons, for increased productivity, for high level of assurance, we need information security. Okay, so these are the basic principles. As I told you, CIA is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. It is the heart of information security. Okay, so now how can these be attacked? Okay, so before that, how can these be attacked? First of all, let's know like what security issues, or how this confidentiality, integrity, and availability helps to preserve information security. Okay, for that we have to see one security issue wherein a communication is being occurred in the within a client and a server, or you can say between sender and a receiver, and both are happy because both of them are like it's a normal flow. Okay, both are having good communication among them. Once this communication is interrupted, like sender is sending messages but it is not being received by the receiver, then there is a problem. Okay, this is unhappy moment. Then further, sender has sent something, but it is being modified by the attacker. Okay, and he's sending the receiver something else. That is again an issue. Then further, whatever sender and receiver are communicating is being listened or intercepted by the attacker. Again, a big issue. Now, sender hasn't sent something, and the receiver is getting messages from the attacker. He's fabricating messages on his own, and he is sending it to the receiver. So again, an unhappy and not a good moment. Okay. Similarly, now once all these things happened, sender and receiver are no longer relying on each other. Okay. Sender is asking, have you got whatever I have sent you? Have you get it? He says, no, I haven't get it, because maybe attacker has not helped into receiving it. He must have stopped it in between. And receiver is asking, have you sent it? And sender is saying, no, maybe attacker has sent something and sender has not sent something, that's why. So there is a lack of or loss of reliability among both the parties. Okay, or some reputation loss is there. Okay, so here, if interruption is there by the attacker, that means data is not reaching, that is, we are lacking in availability. If some modification is done, then integrity is lost. Okay, if modification is done by the attacker, then integrity is lost. If the attacker is intercepting something, he's listening to the confidential talk, then confidentiality is lost. If he's fabricating messages on his own, then authenticity is lost. And if reputation is not there, that means it is non-reputation. Okay, so all these are security issues. If they are lost, then information security cannot stand. You can say these all are various verticals or legs of information security. Okay, so for that we need to understand how this attacker can take advantage, and why he will take advantage. The very first thing we talked earlier about this example also, like if human body is not fit, he is not like immune, or that one person is weak from within, that weakness can cause to invitation as an invitation to various diseases. Similarly, if our system is not strong, then that would be an invitation to attacker. Okay, so similarly, weakness in cyber world is known as vulnerability. Okay, this weakness can be anywhere. It can be in any asset. Weakness in asset. Okay, this asset means it can be your device, it can be your website, it can be your browser, it can be your network. Okay, it can be your server also. So weakness can be everywhere in the entire server system. So this is called vulnerability. And when this attacker get to know about this vulnerability, he will definitely exploit it. Okay, and then we will be damaged. Okay, further, another term is threat. Now, what threat is? Threat is any event which is posed by the attacker. Okay. Now, once he know that these are the various vulnerabilities I'm having in my system, he will definitely try to exploit it, and this would be threat to us. Okay. Now, what risk is? Risk is basically dependent upon vulnerability and threat. More is the vulnerability, more will be the risk. Okay, so more will be the vulnerability, more will be the threat, and more will be the risk. So all these three things are interconnected. Okay, so here now it is time to fix it. We need to identify first, like what all vulnerabilities we have, what all disadvantages or weaknesses we have. Then we have to evaluate it, like what actually loss can we have if I continue to have this vulnerability. Okay, then I need to treat it or fix this. Okay, vulnerability. Or immune, I have to immune my system. So we have seen unexpected success in every field. Like in 1990s we were just having basic connections, basic connectivity was there. Then websites came into the picture in 2000s, and 2010 we got applications on cloud. Okay, cloud domain came into the picture, and now presently we are in the era of IoT, wherein all the devices which are present are smart devices, and they are generating huge lot of data, humongous data. So we can see that evolution is there in the technology. Okay, evolution is there in the usage also. We can't live without this technology even for one day. Okay, so now when this is the scenario, security issue is also there. Okay, and this evolution never stops, and it should not stop. It is for our own good. Okay, but what if like problems are evolving, solutions should also evolve, and similarly awareness should also evolve. Okay, so this is the big picture wherein network information security is the base, and cyber security, is the top of any building when we are constructing something. So cyber security means we are protecting our data and information. We are securing our IT and ICT products, that is information technology and information computer communication technology products. Okay, because it leads to cyber safety. Now, cyber safety means we are talking about all over emotional as well as physical well-being of the people. Because if some data is lost, some information is not secure, that means that person is not secure. Okay, so it is the belongingness, and that data and information is the belongingness of that particular person. Okay, and which can be emotional well-being also, and it affects the physical well-being also. So similarly, IT security is also known as computer security. Okay, it is like some special experts, like you can say security experts, are there in an organization to safeguard that particular organization from any kind of breach or any kind of threat from the cyber attack. Okay, in order to safeguard the information and control the internal system. Okay, so for that purpose some security specialists or security experts are deputed for this work. So this is called IT security. Then now the thing came, what we are doing actually here, we are here for the session wherein we are you know capturing information, like about internet, how network is connected to internet, how internet works. Then what all are the drawbacks in our system, what all are the vulnerabilities in our system. Okay, and how an attacker attacks. Okay, and what are the various types of attacker also we have discussed. Okay, how we need to patch it is also like discussed. Then what various type of information securities or various type of securities are. Now it's time when we have to discuss that what we can do to secure ourselves. And for that, securing ourselves, the first thing that you can do is awareness. Okay, you need to be very aware, like what kind of information you are having, how important is it, and how you can secure it. It's like maybe you can imagine a scenario or imagine a situation wherein you are about to jump into a very crowded place. Okay, and there you know that okay, my maybe my wallet can be stolen by someone, or my whatever valuable thing, maybe some jewelry or some other cell phone or some other device can also be stolen. So I know that before going to the crowded place, I keep it in some safe area. Similarly, I should know, first of all, getting into the cyber world, I should know what important information I'm carrying. Okay, how important is it, and how can I secure it? Okay, then a next step is, after awareness, and next step is assess, that is evaluation. Then I have to see that if these things, these important things, go to some go into the hands of some wrong people, then what would be the loss, what is the risk? Okay, and after assessing, after this assessment, I have to take adequate steps. Okay, I have to take precaution to protect it. Got it? So now, how to protect it and what are the precautions? So these all listed precautions are there. They are nothing technical in it. It's just a common sense. Okay, it is just awareness. You need to update yourself regularly. You can see various posts of the cyber crime, cyber world, whatever is happening over there. Okay, you can regularly update patches, and this means that you can regularly update the softwares of the devices you are using, maybe operating system, maybe Android phone which you are using, or any kind of application which you are using. Use the latest version of it that includes the patch of the vulnerabilities which are present in that software. Okay, so that is why it always asks you for updation. Okay, so updation in the software is also required from time to time. Then further, you need to have some antivirus or anti spyware or anti malware also into your device, so that it can keep you safe from these things. Okay, you need to be very careful while sharing any kind of file, that is person to person file sharing. When you are downloading something, you must be knowing that you are downloading it from the very official website of that particular thing. Maybe I'm downloading something on the Apple iPhone, then you need to download it from App Store. And if you're Android phone you're using, use Play Store for that. Okay, so use it or download it from the authentic website only. Okay, then further, you need to read your messages very carefully. Whatever is there, whatever message is coming, pop-up window is there, you need to read it first and only then you need to answer it. Never blindly or quickly say next, 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 or okay, okay. It's not okay. Okay, so be careful when you read those emails, especially when it belongs to someone you do not know. Okay, so an anonymous email, you should never read that. You should not even open it. Okay, if any attachment is there on that anonymous email, you should never download it. Okay, not even open it, and keep your password to yourself only and make your password strong enough. It should not be weak. As I told you, there are various password cracking, algorithms or some gadgets are there that can crack your password. So it should be strong enough. It should be the a mixture of capital letter, small letter, and numbers and special character also. Okay, so in this way you can make your password strong, and in turn it will lead to cyber security, cyber ethics, and cyber safety. Okay, so if anybody is having any kind of query, kindly ask in the chat area. You can write it in the chat box. Okay, and you can also mail me at currentpreet@cdac.in. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful session. I think the question is by Vishnu Kumar Sharma, sir, is what is IoT?
Okay, IoT is basically Internet of Things. Okay, when we talk about, I'll give you a like brief introduction about it. It's like you are surrounded with smart devices. We all know these days our televisions are generating data. Okay, you are generating data on social media. You're sharing something. Okay, then further, your phone is sending some data somewhere. Okay, your laptop, your desktop, your all the devices also, they are communicating with each other. As we talk about network, Even at our home also, maybe our refrigerator is also giving us notification on our phone, or our washing machine is also sending notification that yes, your clothes are washed now. So what is exactly happening? It's like everything is automated now. Our homes are fully automated, and our surroundings are fully automated. So this is Internet of Things. A small example I can give you. Okay. So this is entire domain. I can't explain it in, just few minutes or few seconds. So this is upcoming domain. Next.
Okay. Okay,
Uh,
ma'am. And how to detect RAT
Rat.
malware?
Okay. So
Is it removed through standard antivirus software being
yes.
provided in the ministries?
In the ministry. Okay. So detecting a rat malware is like whenever you will install anti malwares, it will help you to take those malwares away. The best and the basic method for this is after few time, just put your phone on the reset mode again, factory reset mode, so that all the unwanted softwares or applications which are installed on your system can be uh, you know cleaned, can be uninstalled. So this is one method. Another method, if you're looking for malware like rat on your laptop or desktop, then you can always check task manager. Okay. Or you can see the CPU utilization. If it is more than that, that itself means it will list you also. In that list you can check that whether that malware is there or not. Or otherwise, your if anti malware is there or antivirus software is there, then it can give you some pop-ups like you can delete this, or you need to uh, uninstall this. So you can work accordingly. Any other
Uh,
questions, sir?
no, ma'am, no, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for your time as well as for your wonderful session, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, like we don't have any break. We'll continue with the next session. Are we all ready to go? Are we all ready to go to the next session? Or if you have any questions, kindly keep it in the chat area. All right. Thank you, sir. Like we have already communicated, we madam is also there for some more time. Yeah. All right. So we are going ahead with the next session. So how many are heard about SOVA Trojan today? How many of you heard about SOVA Trojan? Did anyone heard about that? No. Okay. No one is heard about that, is it? Okay. It is affecting the banking. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. So actually, like it was, there from last 3 to 4 months, but otherwise, it has came into the picture in India in recent times that SOVA Trojan, malware. It is a malware in the form of Trojan. So it is highly affecting all the banking apps. Okay, and whenever you are downloading any application, you should ensure that the mobile application is genuine or not. So some of the aspects we are going to cover as part of my session in this particular session, right? So since we are all ready, let's move on to the next session. So as you know, like myself, I'm Jagdish Babu. I'm the project manager at CDEC Hyderabad, and who's coordinating this program, right? So madam has already told you like what is information security, cyber security, why cyber security is essential, and all the things. And madam has also talked about what is information security and those aspects, right? In the information security, CIA triode is very, very important. So these words you are already had, in the first session, and a confidentiality, integrity, and available. So this is a triode. This is called a triode in the information security, right? So you are beautifully, it was explained with the images, right? Once the data is passing, once the data is communicating from one area to another area, from one source to other source, right? So what are the things can happen in the middle of the while the data is in the transmission, right? So to avoid all that, like what are the disturbances we have discussed, to avoid all such kind of things, this CIO triode is very very important, right? So confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality, like what are the data you are communicating or sending, the confidentiality of the data should remains there. And if it is broken, like there is no integrity, right? We may not be ensure, like whatever we are sending or whatever we are communicating, if it is not in right direction and someone is modifying or mitigating the data in another way around, so there the integrity issues will come. And availability is also very very important. You might be having a good amount of data, very good amount of data, in your system, or in your ministry or department, but whenever it is required, right? For example, today I wanted the data related to the how many people have benefited, how many beneficiaries are got benefited from XYZ scheme, right? I wanted the data, right, from the inception of this from the inception of this inception of the scheme, right? So it is our responsibility to provide in fingertips, right? Because we were mandated to maintain the data in a proper manner and ensure that availability of the data at any point of time. So we should ensure that data is available. Is it a problem with everyone? Am I audible to all of you? Sir, you kindly please check it at your end. And if I hope I am audible to all of you. Right, I think there may be an issue at your end. So I request you to please check it at your end, sir. Right. So the availability, thank you, sir and ma'am. And the availability of the data is very, very important. Availability of the data is very, very important in the entire information security life cycle, right? So ensure that, like, it could be anything. It could be anything, like either the all the details of the employees or whatever it is. I'm just giving some of the examples. So the data availability is very very necessary at any point of time, to at any point of time, right? We all know, like, data is also playing very crucial role. So today data is a new oil. Today the data is a new oil, right? Why is it called as a data is a new oil? Can anyone respond in the chat area? Why today, in cyber space, or cyber digital space, why the data is so important? Why the data is very very important? Why the data is very important? Madam is also discussed, like what was the classification of those data, like how it can be done. Can anyone highlight, like, why the data is important? So the data, like, it could be anything, either it could be your name or email ID. All right, data is open, data is on the basis of the data policies are framed. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And data is an information. Excellent, very good. Right, because one can misuse the data. Exactly, exactly. That is what my point. Thank you, sir and mom. Thank you, sir and mom. So the data is very, very important, and the availability of the data is also very important. At the same time, securing the data is also very, very important. If at all, if you are not able to maintain the security of the data, and it may lead to influence more political. All right, now. So the data, if it is available, it's well and good. If it is not available, it may lead to anything. And in the government ministries, it is very very essential, right? To draw a policy or to bring out a scheme, the data is very very important. So if the data is publicly available, I mean, like, for example, we are all having our some of the cards, and some of the credit card, debit card, and all such kind of things. If the card is only available with it, it's well and good. And if the card details are gone out of our hand, there is always chances people can misuse it. So data is important. At the same time, in the cyberspace, the data is very very important, right? So these are the three important words. No, we all will be listening. Like madam has also discussed clearly what is a vulnerability, threat, and risk. Vulnerability is nothing but a gap or a weakness that hacker could exploit, right? So since our mobile is not properly patched up or doesn't have a good antivirus, that is the reason it is leading, or it is allowing someone can install install a Trojan or a malware kind of thing, right? So we have to be careful. We should ensure that there should not be any weaknesses, gaps. If at all, if they are there, it should be covered, all right? As discussed in the previous slide by ma'am. And threat is an incident with a potential to harm the system, right? There are chances that if the system has a vulnerabilities, then it may lead to threat and it may harm the entire system, not only you, right? If any hacker is there, he is not going to harm only your system. There are some hackers, like those people will enter the entire network through your system, right? Those people cannot come to, at least in any organization in anywhere, they will be having some protection methods. And if our system is not, managed, or if our system is not patched up properly, then there are always chances that people can enter into our system through, and also enter into the entire network, into the entire network by using those vulnerabilities or weaknesses or whatever it is. The risk, the potential for damage when a threat exploits as a vulnerability, right? So these are the three important terminologies which we all should understand. What are the threats in common apps which we use it, right? When we are using any of these apps, so some of the information, a lot of information, it is always goes out of your hand. For example, whenever you are using any taxi application, so there are chances that some of the details, of course, like the app developer is having all the information. At the same time, other people, like for example, when you are booking the taxi, the driver may also come to know our, location, and at the same time some of our data, right? When we are making the payment, or when we are, sharing the mobile number, and there are always chances when education apps, or while we are using, so we will be providing our data, right? Your real name, mobile number, email ID, and all such kind of things. Banking application also remains same. Shopping applications, job portals, and all these things, like we somewhere or other will share out the data, and it is the responsibility of the app owner to ensure, like, what are the data you are providing. For example, you are registered and your data is with me, so it is my responsibility to ensure ensure this safety and security of your data, right? So that is what it is important in the entire cyberspace. So how does Google track you? Do you believe all these things? Do you think like the Google is tracking all of you by using this information, right? Can you please say yes or no in the chat area? Yes, 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 yes. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir and madam. Right. For example, let me give a small example. You have booked your air ticket, right? You have booked a air ticket, or you booked a movie ticket, and you will get a notification says that, like, the movie starts at 7:30, but you will get an alert says that, like, you should leave by 5 o'clock. Okay, how it can tell you, like, you should leave by 5 o'clock, right? So it has analyzed that entire system is analyzed where you are residing, where you are going, which route, which are the routes, or which route you are traveling. It will analyze, and it will give you that kind of information, right? So here there are two advantages. One advantage is, like, you can start early, or like you can start well in time and reach well in time. At the same time, if the data is out, or that if the data is breached, like wherever our data is there, if the data is breached, or if the data is viewed by someone else, so they also will come to know, so where you are residing, where you are going, what time you will leave, what time you will come. So this may lead to any such kind of aspects also. There are some use cases which are happened in some of the important departments in India, right? So that officer was tracked, and they have blocked it, and finally that officer was got, kidnapped, and there are so many such kind of incidents are also happened in our, in our country, in some very very important aspects, right? So at the same time, like, what are the whenever you are any search engine, it is not that only Google will do. Any search engine, any application, or anyone and everyone will do the same thing, right? So whenever you what were your hobbies and all such kind of things also. For example, let me give you another example, right? You are searching for a mobile phone, right? Today you searched for a mobile phone, and you completed the transaction of the mobile phone also. Tomorrow when you are opening the browser immediately, and are you getting any some kind of notification in the right area? in the right portlet area, like the mobile prices are slashed, or mobile prices are gone up, and it was got reduced another 3,400, 300, 400, and all such kind of things. Correct. Thank you, sir and ma'am. So you will be getting such notifications. How it is happening? How it is happening? It is happening like whatever we are searching, so it was got stored somewhere. It was got stored somewhere. If it is stored, and that that is only the reason I'm saying that data is a new oil, right? So whatever the search you have done, so entire search, it will be will be categorized, and it will be sent to that vendors, and they will be populating some kind of advertisements and all that things. Sometimes it may true, sometimes it may not true. If at all, if you are following that kind of things, it may lead to some kind of issues, or it may lead to some kind of issues also. Okay, so this is an example. So and next thing is like digital footprints. So whenever you are in the internet or in the cyberspace, it is always that, like, our information is stored in the internet. Do you all agree? Are you all agree? Whenever you are using internet, or whenever you are using mobile internet, somewhere or other, some of the information is always stored in the internet. Yes. How it is happening? That is what we are discussing here. So that is called, thank you, Savam, and it is called digital footprint. Any information that exists in the online about you and your activity, right? So that is the reason, like, we have to be careful, like what kind of information you are sharing, where you are sharing, with whom you are sharing. So all these things are very, very important, whether it could be any of your social media, or any chat platforms, or any emails, or whatever it is, right? So this is in the this is happens in two ways, right? One is the digital footprint, and another is the active digital footprint. There are two ways. The digital footprint is always stored, is always happen in two forms. One is the passive, and another is the active digital footprint. What do you mean by passive? So that will happen without your knowledge. See, for example, you have taken an internet connection, and they will be giving some kind of IP address. So this is the IP address of Sridhar, right? So that information is available with whom? It should be available with only the ISP provider. But that information is also, or can be accessed by other people also, right? So that will happen without your knowledge. That will happen without your knowledge. I also told you that mobile phone example. So without your knowledge, some kind of information is always stored in the browser, or in the browser, in the form of cookies. If these people are able to access these cookies, so that they will come to know some of the informations about you. For example, you logged in into one of the browser, and you are searching for some information, and by using some of the tools, I can find out, like, what is your IP address, right? If I find out your IP address, I also can easily find out who is the internet service provider, and what kind of IP, and which location you are staying. All such kind of information also is openly available for the public. By using some of the tools, we can access that information also. By telling all these things, I don't want to threaten you, but these are the things which will happen. I'm also going to tell you, like, what kind of preventive measures someone should take care to avoid all such kind of issues. Okay. Active digital footprint is nothing but whenever you are in a social media, right? For example, today you are attending a training program. I don't know how many of you are updated as part of your status, are updated in your FB kind of thing, like, I'm attending this training program. Or like, when someone is traveling, yes, I left Delhi, so I reached Mumbai, or I reached Hyderabad, or I reached Bhubaneswar. So that kind of updates also, there are so many people which gives such kind of updates on a social media platforms, right? So without once you post that picture, I can get lot of information, right? So that part I will discuss in the afternoon second session, like what all the information someone will get once that image is available, once that picture is available in a public domain, right? So those aspects we will decide. So sometimes it will happen without your knowledge, and sometimes it happens cautiously with our knowledge. So that is the two different terminologies which we'll use in the passive digital footprint as well as active digital footprint, right? So active in the sense is nothing but like where we will be giving consciously to the some of the information, right? So you have to be very careful, be smart about what are the sites you visit, what are the emails you open, links you click. So this is also very important. Emails you open, you will be getting a lot of emails, in your personal email id, at the same time, as well as in your official email id also. So when you are opening that email id, you have to check from where it has come, why it has come to me, what is intention behind it. If it is an officer, they will be there, immediately you can read it. But if there are any suspicious mails, you have to be very careful. Sometimes you also may get, you received a courier, it was, standing in this courier, in this courier office. So please click here, submit your complete details so that we will be delivered, right? You will be getting such kind of messages also sometimes. Like you have not ordered, but you received it, and by anxiously or you are in some other work, and immediately that mail has come, so immediately you will be responding. So those things also it can happen. So you have to be careful, like when you are responding or when you are providing any information through email kind of thing. Okay, links you click. So a lot many links you will be clicking, either in the form of SMSs or in the form of instant message platforms kind of thing. So late in the evening, somewhere 9 o'clock, you will get a message stating that your electricity bill is not paid, it will be disconnected within next 1 hour. To avoid that, please contact this number. Did anyone got such kind of messages? Or like anyone got update your KYC, otherwise your card is blocked and all such kind of things. So these kind of messages, it will come very regularly. So we should not, respond. There is no need of respond to such messages at all. That like you are paid the electricity bill, and that like there is no credit card due, and if it is messages comes, read and delete it. If it is not useful, delete it, right? I got of messages for KYC. True, Ajay sir. Actually, like those messages, you have to be carefully read and read and act accordingly. Otherwise, like for example, if you say KYC, like know your customer, like you all know that, like you will be uploading some kind of information, right? So you have to be careful while we are submitting the data in those things, like especially which is comes in the form of messages or in the instant messaging platforms kind of thing, right? How to preserve your digital footprint? We were talking about these active and passive digital footprint. How do you preserve? So always think in a long term before you posting, right? I posted something and I deleted, whether that message is there in India, in the internet world or not. I'm just asking a question to all of you. I just typed a message and posted that message, right? After some time, I deleted that message also. Do you think the message is deleted completely, or it will remain same in the cyberspace? Someone said it still remains. Okay, very good, very good. No, it will remain. Okay, it will remain. So we all agree that like that information is always available, right? So you have to be very careful. In a real world, in a blackboard, we can write something and we can rub it. But in the digital world, it is not the case. Thank you, Sarama, for your response. Right. So in the digital world, it won't happen. So you have to be careful before posting any kind of information for anything, or like when you are sharing also, right? Thank you Suklaji. And keep your personal information private, all right? And use privacy settings on social media pages. That aspect I will discuss in the afternoon. Protect your privacy and the privacy of your friends, right? So it is not only you, right? In your friend list, not only you, more than 200 friends are there. So one friend I will click it, and he is having in another 200 or 300 friends, right? So once data is publicly available, then there are chances that other people also in trouble along with you or with me, right? Have a time limit on the time spent on the social media. So please be careful. This point is very important. Of course, like you and me may not be getting the time. So when our children or when our brother or sister who are studying, so whenever they're accessing, so please ensure that some kind of time is provided. Only some amount of time is provided to use the mobile or access some kind of internet and all the things. Otherwise, try to avoid or try to minimize that digital time, which while we are using the device as well as the internet. Okay. Why the data protection and what is the data? So as I told you, like it refers to the practices, safeguards and the binding rules put in place to protect your personal information, right? Like we will see like what was that, personal information or personal data. Either it could be your name, surname, home address, email address, right? Identification card, location data, internet protocol, cookie ID, personal health information. These are all the examples of personal data worth protecting, right? You have to protect your information, right? Let me give you an okay, after that we will discuss on that part. Okay, so these are the some examples of the data. So this data has to be protected properly from all these things. Can anyone tell, right, whenever you wanted to take a new sim, like how do we approach and how do we get that new sim, right? Can anyone respond? How do we approach? MeitY devotee set in Aadhaar card. Very good. Yes, Deepak sir, I am asking you only. Please tell me. We submit ID cards. How do you submit? Will you declare and submit, or just like that you will submit? Will you declare and submit the document Aadhaar card, or like we'll just submit like that masked Aadhaar card? Right. Was declare with the data. Excellent. Right. My point is you should declare what purpose you are submitting the data. What purpose? Right. Declare and submit. Excellent. Excellent, Nath sir. Okay. So we should ensure that like whenever you are submitting any of your ID details anywhere in the thing, you please write, this is submitted for, XYZ purpose submitting. Okay. That purpose you write it and declare there itself, right? Sign it in across near the inside the Xerox paper only, right? Instead of the thing. Otherwise, it may lead to financial loss and reputational damage, loss of sensitive data, and sometimes lead to identity theft also. Let me give you one of the example. So it was when I was training some of the police officers, then I came to know. So as part of their professional life, he was got transferred. So before he transferred, his details were matched in one of the city, right? It was happened in Hyderabad only. By using all his details, one bank account was got created, one checkbook was got created, and by using those documents, like by using the Aadhaar card, only identity card, they have done all those things. By using the identity card, they created a bank account, they went for a loan, they took the loan, and with the bike, they ran away. So because that is all those are duplicate documents. So finally, this person has started receiving the communication from that shop saying like this is what it has happened, right? Unless and until you pay these EMIs, it will be difficult. Then somehow this person is approached the police people, and those people are able to prove that it is a fraud. It is a fraud thing, kind of thing which has happened, right? Finally, that officer was escaped from this. So since they have some kind of evidences, they are able to trace like where it has happened and all such kind of things because of the technology which is available, right? So you have to be very very careful whenever you are giving any of the details, which may lead to any such kind of issues also, right? Identity theft occurs when someone without your knowledge acquires a piece of your personal information and uses it for a commit for a fraud, right? Just now I gave an example also, right? Information often targeted by identity thieves, including your passwords, bank account information, credit card numbers, information stored on users computer, mobile phones, such as contacts, videos, images, sensitive documents, and all such kind of things, right? It could be anything and anywhere, wherever it is stored, it can happen at any point of time also. Safeguard your personal information, right? Protect your passwords, especially all your credit and debit cards. Destroy. What do you do when a person is getting unsolicited mobile? And just addressing that query before we. Okay, what do when a person is started getting unsolicited telephone calls for taking bank loans? Where to report? So one is like the DND is there, sir. Like you all know, in that in our DOT website, like where we can go and report as a DND. Okay, do not disturb. In spite of that, like if you are still getting the calls, you can block, but if you block one number, you will be getting other number, other things also. But recently I think the Troy is also introduced, to find out, like whether it is a spam kind of thing, like where you can go and report in the Troy also, then they will take some appropriate action on those spam calls while you are receiving those spam calls on your mobile phone, right? Destroy said receipts are not, are not required. Review your records regularly. So, for example, right. So let me ask you one question, right? So your credit card was expired. What will you do? Your credit card was expired. Immediately you may be shred it into the number of pieces and you will be throwing it to the dustbin. Like while throwing in the dustbin, where will you throw? Like you will throw all the pieces of your credit card or debit card in a single location or in multiple locations? Please SMS in a single location or multiple locations. All right. Multiple locations, multiple locations. Why, sir? Why you are throwing in multiple location? Why you are throwing in multiple location? Thank you. It's a correct answer. But why you throw into multiple location? Right? Everyone is telling like multiple locations, so it cannot be assembled. If it is assembled, also the numbers will are different. No, the numbers will be different, right, sir? It could not be joined. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, we should follow that, right? We should ensure that either it is a credit card, debit card, if it is expired, you have to cut it into the many places, throw it into the multiple locations, not in a single location. The same thing will be applicable to your receipts also, whichever, like you are collecting it from your from your ATM or whatever it is, right? Right. Thank you. And review your records carefully, right? When if anyone is using credit card, ensure that you should check all your credit card regularly, right? Be cautious while phishing links, right? The phishing aspect we are discussing in the afternoon, so please wait till then. Monitor your online accounts. What kind of risk can be exploit card pose? Correct. Excellent. So your old card, of course, like if the card number goes out of your hand, if the card number is available with me, if I have your card number, I can do it transactions. I can do online transactions. If I have if I know your credit card, I can do the transactions. You may be surprised how can that fellow will do, right? If at all, if you are doing a domestic transactions, then you require your CVV, OTP, expiry and all that things. But whereas, yeah, yes, without CVV when I was talking about, in a domestic transactions, if at all, if you are doing any domestic transactions, then you may require all these things, expiry, CVV, OTP and all. But whenever you are doing international transactions, so it is not at all required. In some countries still it is there. Only in India you need all these authentication mechanisms, but outside countries it is not at all required, right? So that's the thing. Still you can see, but now RBI has come up with disabling with these international transactions by default, and those aspects we will discuss in the afternoon session also. But that card can be used, for international transactions. If the bank suspects, they will block it. If the bank is not detecting that and they cannot do anything, it is also happened to the same thing with me, right? So my ICICI card was expired. I received the new card and it was hanging at my home. And the old card is with me. I was just talking this incident 3 years back, right? So evening somewhere around 5:30, I received a call, from the bank stating that like your card was disabled. I asked him like why and who are you to block that card. He said like some international transactions that happened on your card. He said like I have not received I have not received any messages also while the transaction has took place. They have debited more, they have debited from a credit card more than 45,000 rupees in three transactions. They have debited more than 45,000 rupees. Luckily, bank suspected those transactions and they blocked all the transaction, and they also blocked my credit card. And later they called, they informed me. I went to the bank and I told like this is what it has happened. I gave a written complaint and they gave some information. I filed it, and finally, luckily, I got that money also back. Right? Okay, I need not to pay. The bank has debited and credited and all those kind of things. So this is what it happens without our knowledge, and it will happen internationally transactions also, right? So that is only the reason you have to check all your accounts carefully, and be careful while using a public Wi-Fi, right? You can use the public Wi-Fi only for accessing information. Don't do any financial transactions either in a public Wi-Fi or a open Wi-Fi environment kind of thing, right? So please be careful while using the public Wi-Fi kind of thing, right? Okay, so to ensure your safety and to secure yourself in the digital space, the password is very crucial, right? So you all know like what is the password and how to set the password and all the things. Here are there some kind of how people can track the password. Like one is shoulder surfing, brute force attacks, dictionary attack, writing password on a paper and storing it on a hard disk kind of thing. That time it may lead to some kind of password threats also. What is shoulder surfing? For example, you entered into an ATM, right? We all know that like no one should be allowed along with you. Like you should go into the ATM and you should complete your transaction and come back. If in spite of that, if someone is coming and standing behind you, like you should not accept that. Okay, normally you won't accept also. You should ask him to go out, right, till you complete the transaction. Otherwise there are chances that the people can see that like what is the password. The same thing is applicable either at home or in the office also. Whenever you are typing the password, ensure that no one should be near that, no one should be near to you while entering the password. At the same time, I recently checked it in one of the kirana store like where I have visited. What those guys are, we don't know whether they have done it wantedly or whether it was designed like that, right? So while I swapped the credit card, I was about to enter my pin code, right? And just I have looked at on the top of the and top of that on top of below the ceiling, right? Then there are some CC cameras, right? So through that CC camera, so some of these through CC camera they're capturing like what kind of password you are typing. Like when you are doing the transaction, that number will go out of your thing, and people also will write that credit card thing or your mobile number, and they are also capturing. So sometimes it may also lead. So check that, like if at all if you are visiting the same shop and if they meant for something else, that is a different case. But otherwise you should check for these CC cameras also if it is directed towards that entering kind of thing, right? And brute force attack, there are some softwares where we can visualize like what is the password by using a software, right? And dictionary attacks, if at all if you are keeping your ministry name, department name, and your personal name and all the things, so that can be easily tracked or traced. Okay, what are the best practices? Someone should keep a password safe. Use different password for each of your services. I don't know how many of you are using different passwords for different accounts. Are we all using different passwords for different accounts? I mean different password for your banking, different password for your personal email, and different password for your office email. Are we using like that or no? Please tell me frankly. Okay, Mamata Dar, like she man told like she was using. Right. I wanted to see the other responses also. Are we using the same password for all accounts? Are we using the different passwords for different accounts? I just wanted to see some responses. Please let me know. Right. Okay. Very good. Thank you, sir. No problem. No problem. All right. All right. All right. Some of the most of the people said like they are using different password for different accounts. And if you are using the same password for all your accounts, please try to change those passwords for all your account. The reason why we are telling is like if one account is compromised, there are chances that other accounts also may compromise since the password is remains same. And use a long and complex password, at least some 12 characters. Thank you, Sunil Kumar Garg sir, right? And use a long and complex passwords and change passwords regularly. How frequently you change your toothbrush, right? Now the banks are also enforcing to change your passwords and regular intervals. So how frequently you are changing your toothbrush, similar way you should change your passwords also. Okay, prefer randomization than the sequencing, right? So instead of, if you are using the numbers, don't use 1 2 3 4. Try to use in a different randomization where it suits to you. And you don't use your passwords on a shared computer, and you don't test your passwords and use passpages also. If at all, if you are want to test your passwords, you don't email, you can do it, but email also don't if there are any such kind of things, please verify before you wanted to test it or not, kind of thing. All right, use pass pages, right? You may be asking question, if I use a different password for different accounts, how do I remember? So we recommend you use the passphrase. Like, what is the passphrase? We will discuss here, right? I'll tell you, sir. Afternoon, madam will show you. Like, afternoon session, it will be discussed to you. Okay, the password testing. Switch to passphrase. Like, this is a passphrase. For example, never judge a book by its cover. So that's the sentence. That's the sentence. So that sentence should be changed into a password, right? NJ@661, right? It should not be the same. You also can change as per your convenience. Passphrase is nothing but use some kind of words or sentences and convert them into a password kind of thing. Convert them into a password kind of thing. That is the password, so that you can remember it easily. There are chances are less that, like, you will be forgetting that. If it is not only these words, like, if you all, we all love songs, at least take us first stanza of the song and try to convert as a password kind of thing. At least, like, we should have strong passwords for all our financial transactions. Okay, right? That way, like, you should use your fast face. And secondly, nowadays, like, all the platforms are providing this multi-factor authentication. Ensure that you are enabling this multi-factor or a two-factor authentication for all your accounts, especially all your social networking platform accounts and financial accounts also. It is your primary responsibility to enable this two-factor authentication. Is nothing but, like, many of the people are enabled that, but still, if at all, if you are not done, you should do it for other accounts also. For example, you are entering your username and password, immediately you will be going and accessing it. But in the there is a something called multi-factor authentication. If you enable that service, if you enable that service if you enable that service, you may all right, right. And I say, like, it as a coverage. It will ask you to enter the received password, received the OTP kind of thing. Like, you will be receiving the OTP and you will be entering it. Similar kind of thing. If it is email, also same thing. And if it is a, if it is your social media account also, there are some, various ways, like, where you can enable this two-factor authentication. You can use it. So ensure, like, all your bank accounts and social media accounts are secured with the two-factor authentication. But today's, like, the Trojan which I'm talking about, it is also tracing, like, what is the kind of code which you are doing, right? So, like, we have to see, like, how and what are the security measures which will come in the future course of action, right? All right, like, how do we strengthen the password? As I told you, like, you should not keep any personal information. If at all, if your password is containing any of your personal information, it is treated as a weak password, right? Change your passwords in a frequent manner, like your toothbrushes. Keep passwords as a secret even from your family members also. But if the children and students, you should correct their password. If something goes wrong, then we should have some kind of control. Create personalized passphrases, as I told you, right? So I don't know, like, how many of you kept the password as your name or your spouse name, your children name, their date of birth kind of thing. If at all, if you are doing, so that is easy for people to guess the password. So ensure that that should not be there should not be any such kind of passwords. Okay, so ensure that there won't be any personal information as part of your passwords, right? So these are the some important aspects one should take care in the digital space, because, like, we are connected heavily, and we will be using number of services and all such kind of things. So that is the reason, like, this two-factor authentication is very, very important. Two-factor authentication is very, very important to safeguard yourself in the digital world, right? This is also discussed. So now you had heard about the password security. Now my question is, uh, if someone asks, which one will you share, either your password or your email ID, or like which one is more, we have to protect more, either email ID or password? Which one we should protect, either email ID or password? Password. Very good, Ajay ji. Yeah, any other responses? Password, 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 password. Right, right. Both. Very interesting answer, sir. Yeah. Any other? Okay. Passphrase. Okay. All right. All right. So now I'm going to share my password. Can you find out my email ID? I'm going to share my password with you. Can you find out my email ID? Can you find out my email ID? No? No? Okay. Good. Okay, then it is in the reverse order now. If I share my email ID, can you find out my password? Or at least can you block my password? Can you block my email ID? No. You please give me your email ID, sir. I will try to find out your password at the same time. If at all, if I am not able to find out your password, at least I can block your email ID. Right? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Good. Vishnu sir, like that email ID will be blocked. If I know your email, if I know your email, either I can find out the password by using various techniques, or I can at least block your email ID. That is what it is happens. So email ID is very, very important, right? So email ID is also important. Password is also very, very important. So both should be equally maintained. But whenever you are sharing, whenever you are sharing whenever you are sharing the email ID, please be careful wherever you are sharing, why are we sharing kind of thing. See, for example, someone is asking, how do you block my email ID? No problem. So if I know your password, if I know your email ID, for example, if I came to know your Gmail, then I will try to attempt with various means. First, I will try to attempt with one password. It is not open. Second, I will give an attempt. Third, I will give an attempt. Fourth, I will give an attempt. Fifth, also I will give an attempt. Then it will be blocked automatically. Either your bank account also will be blocked, or your email will be blocked. If I know your personal email ID, I will try, attempt in your bank account. How do I know? Like, there are so many other techniques where we can find out some of the data, but not full data. Some of the data we can find out, and it may leads to blocking that kind of thing. So please be careful, like wherever you are sharing your email ID kind of thing. Hope I'm clear. Good. Thank you, sir. So now we will see the browser security. So this browser security is very, very important. Whenever you are accessing something in internet, the browser security, it plays a very, very key role, and we should ensure the browser should be secure in all means. Okay, we will see. Okay, let me instead of showing it to you, let me open my browser and show it to you directly, so that you also can find out like how do we secure the browser properly. Okay. Okay, so I just opened one of the browser. There are some three dots here. Okay, I'm just opening in a new tab. Here I'm opening a new tab, and you can just see there are some three dots. You just click on those three dots. There you will be having new tab, new window, and a new private window, right? And all these options you will be having. One option we will just discuss. So I'm just clicking. If it is a new tab will be opened. New window, it will be opened in a new window, and a new private window, which is very, very important. What is this new private window? It will gives you some kind of privacy. It will gives you some kind of privacy. What is in private browsing does? Deletes all your browsing info when you close all the private windows, right? What will it will do? I am just reading, I'm not telling anything. Delete all your browsing info when you close all the private window. saves collections, favorite downloads, but not downloaded history, prevents Microsoft search from the being associated. Earlier we said like whatever we are doing the search, that can be captured, that can be done and all the things. But if at all when you are doing any private browsing kind of thing, these information, it won't stored in a local, in a local browser, right? If at all if you are using the private window or private browsing, it won't be stored in a local system, right? It won't be stored in the local system, either in the history or in the cookies or wherever it is. But whatever you are searching or whatever you are doing, this information will be stored, at a server level, right? Otherwise it is going to be a problem, right? The private, it is nothing but the some of the privacy. You can ensure some of the privacy, or like you can use this private window browsing. And if you want to browse something, or if you want to access something, or if you wanted to do something internet in a secured, or some extent in a safe, in a isolated, private mode, in a private mode, right? Since in the private mode, it won't store in the history, it won't store in the cookie, but it will be stored in the browser level, right? Whenever you are doing any critical transactions, like online banking, booking some of the tickets and all such kind of things, okay, you can choose this private window option to do such kind of transactions, because it won't store any such kind of information. But nowadays these cookies are very very intelligent. If you go to any website, immediately they will ask you, enable these cookies, we wanted to store some of the data kind of thing, right? You will be getting the notifications, right? Immediately accept the cookie policy. You should read like what is the cookie policy says. Like we will store your browsing history, we will store your information, and sometimes they also collect the cookie IDs. Once the cookie ID is collected, there are chances that, like, what is the username, passwords and all such kind of data also will be seen. So for example, whenever you are browsing something, right, whenever you are entering username and password, immediately one pop-up window will appear. Can I save it for a future purpose? Right, that time what decision will you take? Will you save it, or will you not save it, right? The moment you enter your username and password, immediately, what are the cookies, can you please explain? Yeah, I'll tell you. Okay, whenever you enter your username and password, immediately such, you will be getting a pop-up saying like, shall I store it for future use or not? Most of the time, most of the people will store that information. If at all, if you have stored that username and password, it will be stored in the browser. And by chance, if the browser is got compromised, the fraudster can see all the data, right? So whenever you are getting that window, you should select no. You should always select no. Never ever share or store any of the information in the browser level, right? Hope it is clear. And now come to these three dots, that is about the private window and a new private window. Or if it is in other browser, you can just see it is a Chrome browser, you can just see it is a incognito mode kind of thing, right? The words are different but the functionality remains same, right? And here you have collection, history, downloads and apps, extension here, and some of these things. And down you will be having an option called, all right, so settings here. You have something called settings here. Click on the settings, then you will be having whole lot of information, right? For example, let me click here on the search option, history. Okay, I'm just clicking history, then you will be getting uh, your information here. Okay, so clear browser data, three results. One is clear browsing data, and it includes history, passwords, cookies and more. All this data is stored on your thing. So now select this more, or whatever it is written there, and it will show you like what has to be done, right? Okay, so these options, okay, it is taken there. Otherwise we can just see here. So for example, if I store any passwords, it will store my passwords here automatically, it will store in the passwords, right? So if it is history is there, if it is history is there, You can choose what what to clever anytime. So clear the data time kind of thing. So if you, the moment you click here, it can be lead to remove all your history, right? If it is, save time and money when shopping in the Microsoft, it's like whenever you are using the browser, so it will show you all these options. It is our responsibility, right? History button. So whether if you want to enable, you can enable. Now it will store all your history. Since I clicked I selected disable, it never stores any of the thing, right? So that is what it has happens. So one is history. You should clean that history at least once in a while, or once in a every 10 15 days kind of thing. So I'm also searching here cookies. Okay, so cookies here, right? It will manage or delete cookies, manage and delete cookies in the site data. So what do you mean by cookie? Cookie is nothing but it is a temporary memory. It is a temporary memory. If the cookies are not there, we cannot do any transactions in the browser or in the internet. So what will cookies do? Cookie is a temporary. It will store the memory temporarily. For example, in one field you typed your username, and later you came to the password, right? You came to the password section. So in the first box you typed the username, second box you are typing the password, right? If the cookies are not there, whatever you are typing, immediately it will be removed. Immediately it will go off. Immediately it will go off. So okay, to avoid that, the cookies were designed to store the information temporarily. Cookies should store the data temporarily, but nowadays cookies are very intelligent. Whatever you are doing, whether you give permission or not, in some of the websites, all that information is stored, and it was sent to the it was sent to the other people, like it will send to the vendor or OEMs kind of thing, right? So that is only the reason you have to remove those cookies whenever it is possible, or if you remove these cookies once in every 2 to 3 days also, it is a best practice to remove the cookies by the end of the day, so that next day it may not be there. If the cookies are there, it will store some temporary memory. If it is not if it is not deleted, so that relevant data also can pop up, right? I hope I'm clear with respect to the cookies, right? So you have to remove these cookies also once in regular intervals, so that you can secure your browser. All right, so block third party cookies, right? I'm blocking. I'm not enabled, like I'm not allowing them. Allow to save and read cookies data, recommended. So you can just disable that and see all all cookies site data, so which should be removed. See, for example, so these are the things I have visited from this morning to now, right? So this data, if I can if I have some tools, I can read, I can encrypt this data, right? I can decrypt this data, like whatever it is stored, that I can decrypt. I can read, like whatever the information I have searched, or whatever the information which is stored, right? So this is with respect to the history and cookies. It is advised to remove the cookies and history on regular intervals, right? So the next option is, extensions, or these options are available. Let me show it to you, those extensions also, so that you will get a clear picture. Right here, we were talking about all those same things only, right? Cookies, block content, all those things we are talking about. And in the same way, you can just see in the Chrome browser also, right? So these are the some of the extensions. Sometimes it may helpful to safeguard your browser and to safeguard your information also. Okay, cookies, HTTPS everywhere, Sudan, AD block pop-ups, Netcraft, and all such kind of things are there. Right, whenever you are installing, for example, let me show you. Okay, let me show you that browser, right? So again, I'm just going back to the browser to show directly the extensions, right? Okay, these are the extension buttons are there. and I think I have added something some time back. For example, let's see HTTPS everywhere, right? Let's see an HTTPS everywhere, like what it will do. HTTPS everywhere. Okay. Let me type HTTPS everywhere. Okay, so this is an extension. So this HTTPS is an extension, right? So now I can do this HTTPS everywhere. Otherwise I can install one more also, netcraft, so that you will get know some information, right? So this HTTPS everywhere, like what it will do, whenever you are establishing a connection, so it will establish a secure connection. So this is how the HTTPS everywhere it looks like, and you can always install the netcraft. I'm just installing that netcraft for you and show it to you. Okay, so this netcraft is its symbol is like this. So this you can download and you can install as part of your browser. It is always helpful, you know, it is helpful to find out like whether the website is whether the website. So it is asking like which browser and all. So if you choose that web browser, it will tell you like whether it is a fake website or a phishing websites kind of thing. Sometimes it will alert you. So it is not looking like a proper website. It also blocks some of the JavaScripts and all such kind of things, like where people will use it. I'm just downloading this for your advantage, okay, so that I can show it to you, right? I'm just downloading for a Microsoft Edge browser, right? Okay, I think that add-on is already there. So let me check where it is. Netcraft. Okay, here it is already there. So this netcraft extension, I'm just enabling here. Okay, so this small icon has come. So for example, let me type my website, right? This is a website, right? I just typed my infosecawareness.in and I just went to this netcraft extension. You can just always keep that netcraft extension also there, but I have not chosen. So you will be getting some basic information. Infosecawareness.in is hosted in India, right? Which is the country, what is the site rank, and where I have hosted, and SSL certificate is there or not, whether it is a secure or not. Since the site is secure, it is giving this right tick mark. If it is not secure, it won't tell you anything, and you will be getting some more information also about this website, whether when it was hosted, where it is hosted. You will be getting a lot of background data and all such kind of things. Okay, and where my DR is there, some kind of report it will give you, but I have protected, so we can safeguard those things. But otherwise, that's the usage of this netcraft extension, right? And you can use that HTTP netcraft extension, all those things, to safeguard yourself in the while you are using any of these browsers and kind of thing. Hope it is clear, right? Later, like once the session is over, you can try with that, right? I'll spend another 5 more minutes, and later part we will like go for the break kind of thing, right? So this mobile is very important. So any mobile application, let me give you a brief introduction about the mobile safety. So any mobile application, whenever you are installing any mobile application, ensure you are downloading or installing that mobile application from a right website or a right play store. If at all, if you are using Android, you should download it from Android Play Store only. If at all if you are using iOS, you should download from iOS Play Store only. If at all if you are using Microsoft, you should download only from Microsoft Play Store only. So our government of India has started App Store, MyGov, my App Store. You can just Google it and you can find out that App Store. So in that, like applications are tested and kept it in the kept it in the apps in the Play Store to download and make use of it, right? The similar way, whenever you are downloading any application, ensure that application should be downloaded from a proper thing. Never ever download any application which are came from an APIs, or in the messages, you know, or in the form of emails and such kind of things. Never ever do any such kind of things. Like if it is comes also, check that, go to the respective Play Store or iOS store and download from there. Before you download, ensure like who is the developer, like what is the ranking, and top of all those things, whether that app is protected, whether the app is protected or not. I'm just showing my mobile thing. In the Play Store I went there. In the Play Store I went there, and you can just see all those things. Okay, there is an icon here, like you will be having whole lot of information, right? You will be having whole lot of options. So the first option is, there is something called Play Protect. I just selected the Play Protect option. So there is an option called Scan. So it is scanning all the applications, and if there is any issues, it will tell you like this application is having issue, otherwise no harmful apps were found, right? Similar way, you should also check it whenever you get the time, and ensure that you should whether the app is Play Protect or not. I'm not. I'm just showing the thing, sir. Here you can just see. All right, whether the app is Play Protect or not. Whether the app is Play Protect or not. You have to first select this. App is Play Protect or not. If it is a Play Protect, then only you should download. Otherwise, never ever download that. And if it is a Play Protect, you will be having all the apps which are Play Protect, and you can just see scan it, and you can do this thing also, right? So this is with respect to the thing. And besides that, like what are the permissions we are giving, what are the permissions we have to remove. App permissions are very very important, right? Like what are the kind of permission. So any mobile application, whenever you are installing, it will ask you n number of permissions, right? N number of permissions it will ask you. You can just see here in this particular screen, like what are the permissions. So most of the apps are allowed, contacts, location, SMS, storage. So we have to deny all these things. So I have denied for some of the apps like camera and microphone. You should deny all these things. Like whenever you are getting this an option called for any mobile application, allow all the time, allow while using the app, deny. Which option will you choose, sir, madam? Which option will you choose? Of course, I know I am already crossing the allotted time. I hope it is useful to continue for a few more minutes. Second option, always use while using the app. Okay, if I use third, what will happen? Very good. This was said like a third option, deny. Right? You can deny that permission. Whatever the apps are there, you should deny this permission. Once you deny this permission, whenever you are using the application, it will ask you to enable that option. If you are enabled, then application will work. Once that application usage is over, come back and disable all the permissions. Come back and disable all the permissions. You should ensure that you should disable all the permissions for all the applications manually. Okay, don't do any of those don't give away all the permissions to all these people, right? See, for example, in some of the application, out of 17 mobile application, 12 mobile applications are reading my SMSs. Okay, they're reading my SMSs. Why Airtel read? Why Amazon read? Why Beam read? So I'm just doing a transaction with the Beam. Why other people will read my messages? So I should go to the tabs manually. I should go to the apps and I should remove all the permissions, right? So as I shown to you earlier screen, you should deny all these permissions also. Okay, then only you can do that. So for example, I was searching for a Punjab National Bank. How many you are getting? You are getting some 9 to 12 applications. Let me go to the Punjab National Bank. I just went to the Punjab National Bank. There I have got only 5 applications. But which one is true? Those 5 or these 9? Okay, so never, while you are downloading any app from a Play Store or iOS store also, okay, you should check it properly. Otherwise, go to the original website of that particular organization. For example, I just wanted to download an application from the PNB. I just went to the PNB. I seen, like for example, I just wanted to download this Beam PNB. I will click it here. If it is redirects, if it is redirects to the Play Store, iOS store, I should go there and I should download, right? Before download, check like who is the developer and whether the app is play protected or not, and what is the rating, reviews, and all such kind of things, and ensure like you should use that kind of thing. Otherwise, it may lead to some kind of issues also. Okay, you should always enable the software update is update your system software and application softwares. Whenever you are getting these updates and patches, you should update them regular intervals, patch them up on regular intervals. And software update is also, you should, by default it will be in disable mode. Enable for automatic updates, enable for automatic updates. So what will happen, whenever you are get an update, immediately you will get a notification. And once you get the notification, you go and see like what is the notification, and if the notification is proper, and if it is came from your own operating system, that alert has came from your own operating system, then you should go there and you download and make use of it. Okay, so this is how you should ensure the safety and security of your mobile phone. Hope I'm clear with respect to the digital footprints, password, browser, and this mobile safety and security. Of course, I have not covered fully, like I have covered majorly, and most of the things I have covered in the group. Like we will share it when you are going to the e-learning. There, like you will be getting all these presentations, or in the Telegram group. Yeah, we will share it with you, sir. No issues, right? Hope it is clear to all of you.